Hey guys, and welcome to the It's a King Thing podcast with Miss Ray. And I'm Ray, of course. How are you? I just, I'll be really trying to keep hope for society, but every time I do, people just show me why I shouldn't. I want to talk about our children and why they are just in such danger. And why do we keep putting our kids in danger? Why do we keep letting these innocent children be victimized? Because they didn't ask to come here. They didn't ask for you to be their mama, and they didn't ask for you to make him their daddy. But they're being victimized at an alarming rate, and it is really, really, really bothering my soul. So I was just, going through a few little statistics, a few little streams of different alerts that I get based on, my algorithms because, I'm constantly watching something about law or uh, a case of some sort, whether it's high profile and nobody's ever heard of it. I'm really big on law, so that's what I spend most of my time looking at and reading and studying and understanding. And it's just really, really, really bothering me how our children are continuing to be victimized. And I just be want to understand why. Like, what will possess you to have children, and then you turn around and you do these things to them and for what? Like, I don't even understand how you could possibly live with yourself with the things that are going on with these children or the things that you're allowing to happen to your children. Like, make it make sense to me. um we still got kids dying in cars. Like, why are you still leaving your child in the car talking about you forgot? How in the world could you possibly forget your child in the car? Don't you glance in the back of your seat? I don't know about y'all. When I'm driving and you look in your mirror, you can't help but see in the back of your car. I don't understand how you could possibly say you didn't see your child back there, or so maybe you don't look in the rearview mirror when you're driving. So when you got in the car this morning, you put the kid in the car, right? You put them in the car seat, you strapped them in, you closed the door, you got in, you strapped yourself in, and you drove off. So when you got out and just took you out, you didn't think to unstrap the child that you strapped back there? Like, I mean, make it make sense to me. Make it make sense to me. Like, I don't understand how you could just let your child be left in the car, and not for a short period of time, hours and hours and hours, until the child is unalive in heat. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been in a car and my air turned off, and I about want to die trying to get some air into my car. So, can you imagine what an infant feels like trapped in something like that? I can't even begin to fathom it. Like, it does something to my soul for every parent that has done it. It does something to my soul. It's like I want to put you in a hot car in handcuffs and turn the air off and roll the windows up and leave you out there and see how you would make it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And it just continues to happen year after year after year. They said 1,051 children have died in hot cars due to pediatric vehicular heat stroke since 1998. I can't even imagine what I mean. Like, I can't, as a child trapped in a car, I can't. I just thought I don't even want to think about what that felt like for that baby and how that baby suffered and how you as a parent that laid there and created that child and pushed that child or had a cesarean, however you got that child here, you allowed that to happen to your child. Now we all get overwhelmed and we forget. Okay, I get that. But then there are those of you who I know didn't forget. You did the shit on purpose. And you'll never be able to tell me that you didn't because when I hear the evidence, I know you didn't do it by accident. You can't tell me, well, they spun it a certain way. You left your child in that car and let that child expire due to pediatric heat stroke. I literally can't sit in the car 2 minutes without having a whole fit with the air not being on. So I can't even imagine what it's like. Like I literally overheat and my hands swell up like little sausages. Like it's a horrible feeling. So I can't even begin to think about a child going through that. And then we're going to talk about now some of these are older grandparents and they're older and they're forgetful. I might give you half a pass. But there's one grandmother I read about. This was the second child that you didn't die that just died in your custody. No, no, mom. No. The first one I gave you a pass. The second one, we got a problem. We have a problem. We got a major problem. You my mama, but that was my child. We got a problem. We got a problem. We got a problem. And I think after my child died in your custody the first time, I probably would never leave you alone, my child again. That's just me because I'm paranoid. Even though it wasn't your fault allegedly or however you want to say it, I just would think you're a little too forgetful for me to put my child in your custody again. And it's nothing personal, but I have to protect my kid. That's just the reality of it. I mean, that's just me though. People say I'm a little paranoid. I will take that when it comes to the defense of mine, protection of mine, the care of mine, the concern of mine. I'll be paranoid as you want to be. I will be as paranoid as you want me to be. Then you have those, let me see, let me make sure I say this right. Did you know that there is a thing called the Cinderella effect? The Cinderella effect, does anybody know what that is? Because I didn't know what that was. I didn't even know that it existed. But the Cinderella effect is historically studies have shown that a young child living with a step parent or an unrelated mother's or father's partner is significantly more likely to be a victim of fatal abuse compared to a child residing with two biological parents. I didn't know there was a name for that. It is called the Cinderella effect. So when you step parents are unaliving children, it is called the Cinderella effect. Now, yeah, some of these people are a waste of DNA. They should have never been born. Their mama should have swallowed them. True, true, true. So very true. But I blame the person that put you in the position to be with their children. Because somewhere, and I've spoken about this before, somewhere we know that there is something wrong with our mate. Maybe they temper is short. Maybe they get upset and they throw things or they yell and holler, slam down on things and something of that nature. Or maybe the child does something and they go left and it really wasn't that serious. But there's something in the back of the hair on the back of your neck stands up. Something is sticking you in the side of your chin. Something is telling you something is just not quite right with your kid around this person. So why do you continue to leave them there? Why do you continue to leave the kids in their custody? Why do you continue to put your child or your children in jeopardy? Oh, he wouldn't do that, even though you see them beat up this person, you see them attack that person, but he wouldn't do it to me. Why? You special? Your honeypot just that good that he wouldn't do it to you because he's sprung? Girl, bye. If he did it to them, he'll do it to you. If he did it to them, he'll do it to you. You're not special. You're not special. It just hasn't happened to you or yours yet. Why do you guys continue to put these people? He just did 25 years. I read a story. Let me tell y'all, if I could have crawled through the internet to find this woman. So the little girl ran to her neighbor's house, banging on the door, asking for help. The Ring camera caught the footage. And the man chased the little girl down and is hitting the little girl and gets her back to the house or whatever. So when the neighbor sees the Ring camera footage, she goes and asks the mother, is the little girl okay and what was going on? And the mother says, please take that down and please don't report it because he just got out of prison for doing 25 years. excuse me, her fiance had just got out of prison for doing 25 years and she doesn't want him to go back. Boo! I almost called that woman out her name. Blessed child of God, are you out of your mind? Your child just ran to a neighbor's house for help, and you worried about this 25-year convicted felon that just got the penitentiary, your quote unquote fiance, but he's attacking your child. He's attacking your child. Your child ran to the neighbor for help. And the woman gonna tell the neighbor, please take that down. That woman said, I ain't taking nothing down until I can confirm that that child has been protected. Is you cool? I said, I know you lying. I know you lying. This little girl ran for help to the neighbor. And you gonna tell the neighbor, please take it down so that your fiance doesn't go back to prison. He wouldn't have to go back to prison, baby, because he would be in the morgue messing with mine. He would be in the morgue. Do you understand me? And that is what is wrong with women and men, because you got men whose wives and girlfriends is unaliving their kids too. It's not just women having it happen to their kids. Men are having it happen to their kids too. But at what point do we put our kids first and stop trying to have somebody in your bed at the expense of your children? At what point? You see the little girl that was unalived on a cruise ship by her quote unquote step brother. Is you cool? You mean to tell me you didn't know nothing was wrong with this boy? Y'all gonna tell me y'all didn't know nothing was wrong with that boy? Huh? That's what y'all want me to believe. Y'all knew something was wrong with that little bastard. I'm sorry, Lord, forgive me. No, I'm not. I'm so serious. Y'all knew something was wrong with that boy. I blame his mama and the stepdaddy. Stepdaddy, if you didn't know something was going on, where were you all this time? How long you been with this woman? And how you didn't know that boy had a hatred for that child? But let me speak from experience. My brother and I were raised together. We have different fathers and different mothers. But my stepfather is his biological father. My stepfather raised me since I was 1 year old. Okay? So me and him were raised up together. Did not know that he had a hatred for me my whole life. Did not know he had hatred to me till I was in my 30s and he had my face cut up by his then wife. I don't know if they're still married, and I could care less. Had my face cut up because I had his biological mother's car keys, and she told me not to give them to him. And he had me assaulted. Broke my nose at the base of my skull. This is what she did to me. And had my face cut up. I still suffer with migraines, and I have one little scar on my face, but by the grace of God, God is good. My face was not damaged except for that one little scar. And Curad scar therapy really does work. Shout out to Curad. Let me tell y'all something. You parents got to stop acting like you don't know your kids is messed up in their head. You've got to stop doing that, acting like you don't know there's something wrong with your child, and get your child some help. You could have never told me my brother hated me the way he did. But it took his best friend to tell you. His best friend said, he's always hated you your whole life. You talking about a gut punch? You talking about a gut punch? We have got to stop ignoring the signs. I fought my mother for a lot of things. My mother was an amazing woman. She was an amazing mother. But when it came to that damn daddy, you should have been left that Negro. He should have been left. And my father was very abusive, physically, mentally, verbally. He was abusive. He was abusive to the dogs. He was abusive to my brother, my baby brother. He took some ass whoopings that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And I often blame my mother because I'm like, how could you allow somebody to do that to your children? Like why you didn't think that that was excessive? You didn't think that was too much? You didn't think that he should have been stopped? But again, that was her story. I got mine. I wish a motherfucker would. That's mine. That's my story. That's what I stick with. I didn't date much when my kids were little because that was my fear. You put your hand on mine, I'm going to the pen, you going to the morgue. That's just what it was. That's just what it was. Because kids don't ask to come here, and our job is to protect them at any cost. I don't care who it is. I don't. I don't care who it is. So at the end of the day, you got to protect your kids. Our kids are being unalived in alarming numbers, and it is just so distressing to me. You know what I mean? I'm looking at just some of my notes. In Milwaukee, 5-year-old little boy named Prince McCree was tragically unalived by a 27-year-old man and a 15-year-old boy. Now, why was a 27-year-old man and a 15-year-old boy together in the first place? Baby, I don't know. I don't know. But they unalived a 5-year-old boy, tortured that little boy. In Virginia, a 3-year-old with disabilities was killed by her mother, set her on fire, and then set herself on fire in the house by pouring gas on herself. Little girl died. Mama died, burned up. Ryan Farland allegedly shot and killed his 5 children and wife before taking his own life. Like, children ejected a child was ejected from a car and landed on top of the police cruiser during a high-speed chase. Now, why would you go on a high-speed chase with your child in the back? And it's happening so frequently now. It's happened so frequently. You're going on these high-speed chases with your children in a car. Are you crazy? What is wrong with y'all? I just don't understand. In New York, a 4-year-old girl was starved to death by her mother and her boyfriend. When he died, excuse me, I think it was when she died. I think the child was a girl. Maybe it was a boy, I don't recall at this point. The child only weighed 19 pounds. Now, peep this though. There was fresh produce in the refrigerator, but the door was turned to the wall so it couldn't be opened. The cabinets had zip tied on them so they couldn't be opened. But y'all was eating good though. Y'all was eating just fine. But you let your child starve to death. A 4-month-old suffered massive skull fractures at the hand of the man known to the family, which is probably the mama's boyfriend. The baby was left with this man while the grandmother went to a garage sale. Now, let me say it again. While the grandmother went to a garage sale. Now, why would you leave? Now, if I remember correctly about this story, there was a protective order against this man. So he wasn't supposed to be nowhere around. So why would the grandmother leave the child with the man that has a protective order against him? There would be nothing my mama could tell me. Do you understand me? There would be nothing my mother could tell me at all. Would be nothing. Then this one will really get you. 3 generations of Long Island family members charged in the torture of a 7-year-old girl who suffered 90 stab wounds over time, developed a massive untreated infection, and missed 4 days of school. She was found in cardiac arrest and pronounced dead at the hospital. Y'all hear that? What is going on with these people? 3 generations. 3 generations now. Now, then there are these children. Zion, he was 18, and Sadie was 14, were taken in an act of domestic violence allegedly by their father, their own father. Their own daddy did that one. Children ages 5, 3, and 5 months were unalived after their mother trapped them in the home while she went to go do a $300 drug deal. She went to go do a drug deal, selling drugs. If memory serves me correctly, she put the refrigerator against the door. I'm not sure if she climbed the window or something. She climbed out some kind of way, which made it hard for the fire department to get inside to put the fire out that was in the house the children were trapped in. And they were unalived. 8-year-old shot in the head while trying to protect his mother from abusive dad who was recently released from jail. Now, this 8-year-old trying to protect his mother, as he should, bless his little heart, and he's unalive now. And all I want to know is A, did the mama let that Negro back in her house after he had already been abusive to you? And B, if she didn't, why do we not have some type of protection in there when you know you're dealing with an abusive man? Like it comes a time when we have got to protect ourselves and our children and stop letting these folks victimize us. It's got to be a time when you say enough is enough. It's going to be you or me, but somebody going to the morgue, somebody going to the penitentiary because you have to. Now your child's unalive. How you gonna live with that? I personally would not be able to live with myself knowing that I'm the reason why my child is unalive. Now, if he broke into your house and was supposed to know where you lived and stuff like that, that's a different situation. But from what I remember the story, that wasn't the case. Because y'all always think he gonna be better this time. He's sorry. Because he gonna say whatever he gotta say when he got to jail or for you to bail him out. Because 9 out of 10, y'all are bailing these Negroes out that just finished kicking your behind or kicking your kids behind and got these charges in the first place. I just don't get it. Then there was a 5-year-old autistic boy that was unalived by his mother's boyfriend. The boyfriend was caught on video placing that poor child wrapped in a blanket in a dumpster. I just, and I saw the footage of you carrying that child wrapped up in a blanket and putting him in a dumpster like trash. Like trash. An 11-year-old black boy was punched in the face by a 43-year-old white man. The child suffered fractures. He suffered a fractured tooth and a nose. All this while the man hurled racial slurs at him. A 43-year-old man hit an 11-year-old black autistic boy in the face, fracturing his nose and his tooth. And I just wonder what made you do that? What made you think that you could ball up your fist as a grown man and hit a child? But, again, y'all, I hope you go to prison. I hope start off in jail. I hope while you're in jail that everybody pays you a visit. I hope you go to prison. They become best friends with you and they remind you why you shouldn't abuse children. And I mean it. I do. I mean it. Um, and then, the deliberate acts of parents killing their own kids, known as filicide. And that accounts for approximately 500 deaths in the U.S. annually. That is more than there are days in the year. Do y'all know that? That is more than there are days in the year because there's only 365 days in a year. And if you're saying that 500 children annually die of filicide, that is more than days than there are in a year. And that is crazy to me. That is astronomical. It is disheartening. It is disgusting. And we have got to find a way to do better. When you guys see something, don't just look and talk about it. Do something. We need to get back to our villages. We need to get back to everybody protecting children because, again, they did not ask to come here. They did not deserve what they are receiving. All they deserve to do is be protected and loved and molded to become productive adults in society. Not to be made to be victims due to what? Your stupidity, your anguish, your sadness in your own life. These are all self-inflicted wounds. Don't take it out on the children. They didn't ask you to they didn't ask you to have them. They did not ask you to create them. They didn't say, hey, you be my mama, you be my daddy. They didn't do any of those things. So why are you abusing them or allowing them to be abused or allowing them to be victimized by your new boo? Why? Make it make sense to me, y'all. Make it make sense to me. Explain to me why you think it is okay for your children to be victimized. And some of you, well, I was a victim too. So if you was a victim, then you should definitely be doing shit differently that you would have wished somebody would have did for you. You don't fall into the same damn trap. Be better. Protect your kids. Or better yet, don't have none. That's the easiest way to do it. Don't have any kids. If you were victimized as a child and you don't want it to happen to a kid, then don't have any. But what you can't do is be a victim and turn out and then create new victims. That don't even make no damn sense. Make it make sense to me, y'all. Make it make sense to me. So because you were victimized, you're gonna have kids and let them be make it make sense. That would be like my brother was abused as a child. I was abused as a child. So we're gonna have kids and let our children be abused. Absolutely not. We have kids and we're completely opposite of our parents. We want our kids to be better than we were as kids. Be treated better than we were, to be safer than we were, to be happier than we were. But don't get me wrong, we had a very affluent childhood. We didn't want for anything financially, but emotionally, that shit was lackluster. And I'm just being honest. No digs, no disrespect, no type of shade thrown. It's just the reality of it all. My dad said, my mama this, my mama that. Okay, so then be better than she was. Now, my grandmother was crazy, but I can't imagine her treating him like that. But maybe she did and got better as I came around. I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't speak for that. All I know was what she showed me. And baby, let me tell you, she showed me how to walk, talk, have a party, cater to your guests. It's easy to find out things in life. That's what my grandmother taught me. So on my dad's side, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't know what he said, if it was that dramatic or maybe just seen that dramatic as a kid in his point of view. I don't know. Unfortunately, my grandmother's not here to explain to me, how it was, because I can only get his version of it. All I know is the grandmother I knew, baby, she gave you the ultimate finer things in life, okay? Didn't get no better than her. So that's what he said. All I know is what we endured as children that we don't endure, that we don't allow our children to endure, because we are a completely different type of parents, my brother and I. Like it hurt his soul to spank my nephew for the first time, like, but it was necessary. But the spankings that our kids got us so far and few because of how we were raised. So you got to do better with your children, because they have to go out in society and be able to survive and have kids and help them to be better adults and successful and prosperous, because that's what you want. Happy children. They grow up to be happy adults. They grow up to be happy in life. Don't be damaged and make damaged. That's crazy. Why would you be damaged and make damaged kids? That don't even make any sense. Just, if you need assistance and you don't know what you're doing and you feel like you're not sure what you're doing, or you just maybe need, a little help with your kids, it's not what am I trying to say? It's not a dig, because kids are hard to care for. They're hard to raise. You can't do it by yourself. You can't. It's just impossible. You need somebody to help you. You do. The National Child Abuse Hotline. You can call, you can text, or you can chat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's 170 languages. It's available to you. It's available. It's out there. Let me see. Can I get you guys the number? Give me a second. But at the end of the day, you have to want help. If you call, the number is, excuse me, for the child abuse hotline is 800-422-4453. Once again, it's 800-422-4453. You can also text the same number, 800-422-4453. Or you can go on the website, it's childhelphotline.org. childhelphotline.org, and you can chat with a live person. There are churches, if you dial 211, they have resources. But please, 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 for the love of God, stop ignoring child abuse, child endangerment. Please stop ignoring it. Our children are dying at an alarming rate, and that ain't what we want, okay, guys? I love you guys with the love of the Lord. You guys have a great day. And I do want to thank you for coming to the It's the King Thing podcast. Follow us on all streaming platforms. Like, subscribe, comment. I do respond. Have a great night, guys. Here's some rays from Ray. Woo! I love you guys.